welcome to yet another bonus episode of the Atomic Lizards podcast. I'm Dan, the kaiju extraordinaire, here with Myranda, the film fanatic, and Udi, the de facto film expert, as well as guest host Mike. Today, we will be discussing the Super Mario Bros. Movie, made in collaboration with Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment, directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, and starring the voice talents of Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, and Seth Rogen, among many other talented voice actors, all of whom, if I were to keep listing, we'd be here for like a half hour, so... This will be a spoiler-filled discussion, so if you have not yet seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie and plan on doing so, please go watch it first and then come back to this episode. This will be your one and only warning. Alright, so let's kick things off. What's everyone's first impressions of the Super Mario Bros. Movie? We'll start with you first, Myranda.
It was good. I liked it. The only thing I could think of after saying it was just repeatedly saying "wahoo." And the quote from Good Omens, where a character, his name's Crowley, he says, "Can I get a wahoo?" So I guess that's my official review, but in more like critical review, I guess. It was done very well. I liked the animation. It looked really, really good. Everyone looked really shiny though, so I don't know if that's like an animation thing or if it's just seeing like Mario characters in like high definition compared to like the pixels of like the older games and like the quality of like Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. So it wasn't like jarring or anything. It looked really good. I liked the workaround on how they got away with not doing strong Italian accents, and they just gave them like Brooklyn, New York accents. So I know a lot of people probably they had feelings about the accents when the trailers dropped, so I think they handled that well. I liked the scene when they run through the construction site because Mario's like really good at it, and then Luigi's like following behind, and that's like when you play the game, especially as a kid, and the first player is really good, and you're just following behind as Luigi, just trying to catch up. So like, it still has that like video game feel of playing the games. I think the voice acting was pretty good overall. And I think they could have done a bit more with the plot and maybe had Luigi do a bit more things because he kind of just was captured. But like they did switch that role from Peach being captured to Luigi being captured, which I thought was pretty cool because otherwise it would have just kind of been a copy of the games and they tried something new. And then the Mario Kart scene when they're building their carts, I liked that they still had to do it similar to how you do it in the actual game. And it did remind me of Wreck-It Ralph at times, but that's probably because it's like a video game movie, car racing, and that's like a main premise of that movie too. So overall, I enjoyed it.
Oh, great. I mean, I was going to say real quick, now that you mention it, Wreck-It Ralph did had kind of a similar scene, though, where, they're creating their own cart. So
Mm-hmm.
I can see the connection with that. So those are your first impressions then, Miranda?
Yeah, that. Yep.
All right. Well, on to you then, Udi. What are your first impressions of the Mario movie?
I really liked it. I think I got everything that I wanted out of it. I'm not like the biggest Nintendo or like Mario fan out there. I don't have anything against it. I know I didn't grow up like playing them that much, so I don't have like a huge attachment to the character or anything. But I like the world and I enjoy them for what they are. So for the movie, I was just like, as long as it's basically something along the lines of like the basic story of Mario. It's like they're the two Italian plumber brothers. Luigi's like the nervous little guy, but he's like the best boy. And then Princess Peach is in it, Bowser's in it, and like the animation is good. Then, and obviously like, the voice acting is good. Then, yeah, and that's what we got. So I was happy with that.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just want to say I like how you referred to Luigi as the best boy.
He is the best boy.
Yeah.
And then I would say this is Illumination's best looking movie for sure, like in visuals and animation. So that was really nice because I know like for you and me, that was like a point of like worry or of concern where we weren't sure if their animation style was going to quite live up to Mario, but they did a really good job. And another point that I was worried about was Chris Pratt. I remember in the first couple of first couple of trailers, it sounded like it was just Chris Pratt being Mario. So I was like, oh no, this is going to be so lame. But I'll give him credit. He did a pretty good job. He didn't sound just like Chris Pratt the whole time. So, and then yeah, the rest of the cast did a really good job too. Of course, Charlie Day, great job as Luigi. Seth Rogen couldn't stop laughing every time he was laughing. It's just the idea of Donkey Kong having the Seth Rogen laugh is great. And then Keegan Michael Key did not could not really hear his voice in Toad, so that was really interesting. And then of course love Anya Taylor Joy no matter what. So she was great as Princess Peach. And of course the one and only Jack Black as Bowser. Incredible. Peaches, peaches, peaches. So and then favorite little surprise in the movie, I guess I would say, is, and I know this is controversial, at least to Mike, but I was a little glowing star named Lumen, something like that, in like Bowser's prison. I guess it's just something about a little baby voice saying really dark stuff that just cracks me up. So I was having a good time with that. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right, you're up, Mike. What about you? What did you think of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
I had to sum it up. I'd say it's probably the best we could have hoped for. I went into it with like cautiously optimistic about it because I did like the trailers for the most part. And coming out of the movie, yeah, it was fine. It was a fun little Mario adventure, a 90-minute can't go wrong with. Um, I did grow up playing a lot of Mario, so it is kind of ingrained into my system. So my favorite part of the movie was probably just like catching all the little references that I know were lovingly put there for people like me. It was very fun to catch all of those. The story was pretty bare bones, and I did kind of want a little bit more from that. Maybe they can expand on in sequels. But yeah, the voice cast I would say ranged from great to fine. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but like the Mario games have like they focus so little on story that I guess there wasn't really much to do with this movie except like focus on the characters, which for a first movie I guess is the right choice in regards to what you're gonna do with Mario as a movie. So like I said, it was fine and probably the best we could have gotten as a first attempt, especially after I watched the '93 Super Mario Bros. Movie for the first time before seeing this movie, and this was loads better than that. So yeah, we were in a good spot.
Oh, that the '90s Mario movie is actually kind of a guilty pleasure for me. Like, I'll acknowledge that it's bad, but I don't know, man. I have a good time whenever I watch it.
I understand. There were I liked it a little bit.
I was gonna say, can you imagine if the new one had ended up being worse?
Oh no, that would be so bad.
I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah, honestly. Oh my God, yeah.
That would have taken like effort to make it worse.
You know what? You were like, could you imagine? No, Udi, I can't imagine that. Honestly.
I don't want to imagine that feature or that timeline, but I'm just saying like that would have been quite the achievement.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't know, man. If Nintendo didn't, because Nintendo had to have been watching Illumination with like the biggest magnifying glass while they were working on this. So without Nintendo's supervision, who knows, dude? Like if Nintendo just would have went to Illumination and been like, "All right, guys, do what you want." Who
I
knows?
bet Nintendo rigged their studio up with C4 explosives and like, all right, if you guys don't deliver, we're gonna blow up your animation studio. And they're like, oh no, oh geez, oh god.
Yeah, to kind of go off of what you guys were saying, yeah, I really enjoyed the Mario movie for what it was. Now, is it as good as Twitter and the internet is making it out to be. No, no, this movie is not as amazing as like some people on Twitter are saying, but that doesn't mean it's awful. No, it's fine. It's a perfectly fun Mario movie. Like, and in some cases that might that that's maybe that's all Mario needs to be, is just this fun little romp. Yeah, the story was, there really wasn't anything going on with the story, but and there's definitely is room to like improve upon that, and I kind of agree with some people in wishing that maybe there could have been more, because like the pacing with this movie is just off the charts. Like, it's so fast, everything just keeps happening one right after another. Like, when I saw this for the first time, like, I was like, oh my god, things are moving so fast. Like, they would talk about something in one scene, and then in the very next scene, like, we would be that would the thing they were talking about would be happening. It's like, dang man, aren't you gonna take some room to breathe? But I still really enjoyed myself. Like, you know, m- like Mike was saying, I'm someone as well who grew up playing the Mario games. I love Mario. I love 3D Mario especially, and I really did appreciate all the references that were thrown in there. The voice acting, I thought the voice acting was fine. Like Udi was saying, I was concerned with Chris Pratt as well, because whoever put together those first trailers was not doing Chris Pratt any favors, because yeah, he just sounded like Chris Pratt, and then the Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. Like, that line was bad. Like, they just didn't do Chris Pratt any favors with those first couple of trailers. But yeah, I thought he sounded fine in this movie. And then like I think Miranda had mentioned she liked how they didn't do like the over a top like Italian accents. I kind of like how the movie begins with them doing the over the top Italian
Yeah.
accents, and then just kind of going into like their normal like Brooklyn voices. Like, I did kind of like that. Um, you know, one thing that I thought was really interesting was, I love it when video game adaptations explore things that the games don't really explore. Like, we talked about this during our Last of Us episode, how The Last of Us explored the time while the outbreak was happening. Well, this movie introduces us to Mario's family, which I think is kind of neat. We never really hear much about Mario's family in the games. I mean, we know that I think the only time we ever quote unquote see Mario's parents is in like as at the end of Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, where they deliver baby Mario to his parents, but that's about it. Like, it's not like we see their faces or anything. So I thought it was kind of cool that they showed us like Mario's family. And then, I also liked how they give Mario just a little bit of character, because video game Mario, at least for the main series platformers, I mean, he doesn't really have a personality like at all. He's just Mr. Wahoo guy, let's go save the princess. Like, I've never played the RPGs like Super Mario RPG or the Paper Mario games or Mario and Luigi. So like, I I don't know if he has more of a personality and more of a character in those games or not, but at least for the main series platformers, I never really felt like he had much of a personality. So it was kind of cool to actually like see him have feelings, feel disappointed about his dad not supporting what he wants to do, and then like the love he feels for his brother and whatnot. So I did like that. But yeah, I thought the Mario movie was a great time. Not an amazing movie, but not an awful one either. I think, like Mike said, it's it's what we need for now when it comes to a Mario movie. So, what were some of your guys' like favorite parts?
You mentioned the intro, and that's definitely one of my favorite parts. I really like,
Yeah.
because that was completely unexpected. I was like, "What? Are they actually going to be talking like this the whole
Yeah.
time?" No, but I still like the little nod to like the games. And then I
hmm
liked the scene with Baby Luigi and Baby Mario. I was
Oh,
like, "Oh my god!" We got them.
Yeah, I find it. There was somebody on Twitter that was like, baby Mario defended Luigi from like baby Logan Paul, and upon seeing the movie for the second time, it kind of did look like a baby Logan Paul.
Probably was.
I actually have a complaint about that scene.
What's your complaint, Mike?
Sorry, it's something that really doesn't matter, but the scene with little baby Mario and Luigi, I know that they're game accurate designs, but the way that like they talk to their
Mhm.
parents early on in the movie, they make fun of their outfits. So I don't know why they were being dressed like that as babies. I don't know, it felt like the continuity was off there.
You know what? Yeah, that is something I didn't really think about.
So 1 star actually.
Oh no.
Maybe they thought they were cute like that as babies, but as adults are like, no, you're too old for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, honestly.
I guess parents do be like that.
Well, I mean, what were some of your favorite parts, Miranda?
My favorite parts, like I said earlier, the construction scene when they're running through that was really
Yeah.
cool. Um, the star, the blue star, just saying random
Oh, the
things about
Luma.
death. I was like,
Yes.
okay, then.
Yeah. I will say I really love the part where it's like death comes for us all in the end or something like that. And then everybody in the prison is like, "Whoa!" Like I really enjoyed that.
Luma is my spirit animal.
I wasn't expecting the Peaches song. I
Oh,
didn't. I know Jack Black is in it and he sings,
yeah.
but I wasn't expecting him to sing anything, and that song's been stuck in my head
Dude, tell
for
me about it.
ages.
Yeah, that
Like,
song was stuck in my head like literally all day today.
and then it's like going all around social media too, so you can't escape it. But it's I like that they like did that in the movie and with the plot about like Bowser wanting to marry Peach, because I think that's a plot point in one of the games. I don't
Yeah,
know which one.
Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. And I wasn't expecting that. I thought it would just be like oh, he captured Luigi, we have to go get Luigi, but I like the fact that they kind of like added something a bit different. It's not necessarily shocking, but like if you're not aware, you're like, wait, what? And it like changes your expectations for the movie. And there was just like little Easter eggs around, like the Jumpman arcade machine,
Yeah.
the NES in Mario's room. Um and I like the fact that they had Donkey Kong in there, because without Donkey Kong you wouldn't have Mario, because he's
Yeah.
Jumpman. So those are some of my favorite like bits, and like that's some of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah, and I wanted to say a few things to add on to some of the scenes that you brought up. So like with the whole like Jumpman arcade, the guy that was playing the arcade obviously is Charles. He was voiced by Charles Martinet, who is the voice for Mario in the games. And I thought that was a nice little like cameo role for him, because the way they model the character, they make him look like the original like artwork for Jumpman from the original like Donkey Kong arcade. So I kind of appreciated that. But you know what else I didn't know until I looked the cast up on IMDb? I guess Charles Martinet also plays Mario's dad, which I was not aware of. So that's kind of
Hmm,
interesting.
I
And
didn't know that.
yeah, neither did I.
Mhm.
But I looked it up on IMDb today, and yeah, sure enough, I did not recognize him at all. But yeah. So and then also with the construction scene, like I guess if you really pay attention, like some of the layouts for like the construction equipment, ma- it kind of resembles like World 1-1 from the first Mario game on NES. So that's pretty cool. Another, that's what this movie is. This movie is just full of like references and Easter eggs for the very keen-eyed out there.
They do it really well. It never
Yeah.
feels like they're shoving them in there for no reason. Everything kind of is there for a reason. Whether like you catch it or not. Because I think there's like Star Fox references or like Easter eggs in there too. So they're just very good at blending everything together, especially with this like new animation style. Everything feels the same as it does in like the games. So
Yeah. All right. Well, what about you, Mike? Do you have any favorite moments or favorite parts?
I think hands down my favorite part of the whole movie was the score. Um,
Oh yeah.
which actually is like one of it's tied with like my favorite thing too. Hearing the like classic Mario tunes like reimagined for like the big screen was like incredible for me personally. Just like hearing it in a theater is something I never really thought I'd get to experience. Like just all the tunes of Koji Kondo were just in my ears. I was like, oh my god, this is the part from that level, and this is the part from this game. And one of the tracks that like surprised me the most was I can't confirm if this is like actually what it was because I haven't heard anyone talk about it on Twitter, but there's a track from Mario Galaxy, from the Deep Dark Galaxy that was used at one point in the movie. At least I'm 90% sure that's what it was. And I was like, wow, that's a cut. Because like it's not one of the most like popular like Mario scores. So I mean like Mario Galaxy is one of the most popular Mario scores, but like that specific piece is not. So I was like, wow, that's kind of a deep cut. That's really cool. And then in the credits, hearing Gusty Garden Galaxy was like, just made me want to cry a little bit. I didn't, but on the inside, I was like, this is like one of the best pieces of video game music ever made. And now I'm hearing it in a theater. So like, that was really
Heavily
cool.
agree.
What I
Yeah.
didn't like was that for every great Mario song that we heard was there was also a licensed song that was used in a poor or unconnected way to the scene that just kind of threw everything off for me personally. Like it's really upsetting when they showed so much care to like the Mario like music that like they couldn't have found music that was more fitting than using Take on Me or uh another I Need a Hero needle drop that like every movie has at this point. Like I don't know, it just felt a little bit overbearing for me. Like when you could have either picked new
I
Mario.
just
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing really quick. So you mentioned the Take on Me part. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't really think that the licensed songs were necessary, but for that specific part where they're on the cart with one of the Kongs and they're playing Take on Me, they actually recorded an original piece of music for that had more references to like Donkey Kong music. They recorded a piece for that scene but decided not to
Yeah,
use it and went with Take on Me instead.
they did. That made me so upset because I
Yeah.
found a thread on Twitter that literally like took the cam rip online, and every licensed like song has a bit of score that's supposed to go there, but they use the licensed music instead, and it's just kind of baffling to me because like every like licensed song, like the only one that kind of worked was the I Need a Hero, but like again, that's done to death. But like every other like licensed song didn't fit the vibe, didn't fit the mood, and just like I don't know, it just felt so out of place for a Mario movie where like there's no Mario game that has licensed music besides like the GameCube Dance Dance Revolution Mario mix game. So like I don't
Yeah.
know unless it's like a reference to that, but I don't know, it just felt very out of place, especially when they had these original tracks that they could have seen.
I'm always kind of a fan of movies using "I Need a Hero" in sequences like that, but I do agree that there was a lot more needle drops than I thought there were gonna be. Like they kept happening, and I'm like, why? This is. I mean, I don't know. I didn't. It didn't bother me that much because again, I'm not like a huge fan of the games, but it did stick out to me because I was like, this feels a little odd. This feels like, oh, we have money to burn. Let's just use licensed songs.
See, I feel that just comes with the territory when it comes to Illumination, honestly, because that's just their style. You know, they put in all these like pop songs and whatnot to like be hip with the families that are going to see it. But yeah, I had a
well,
I thought
I don't. like add. They don't add like pop. Well, never mind. Never mind. I was gonna say they don't really do that
Oh.
for the Despicable Me movies, but Happy by Pharrell, that's a whole thing. Never mind.
Yeah.
I guess
Well,
they
yeah,
do
like I said,
a lot.
yeah, it's just their style. I mean, but yeah, I don't think, yeah, I agree. I don't think that worked very well with Mario, but I gotta agree with Mike. I love the soundtrack. It was funny because like when I found out that they were gonna be like doing familiar Mario themes and incorporating them into the soundtrack, my one request was like, all right, I just want to hear the Peach's Castle theme from Mario 64 when they reach Peach's Castle. Not only did they give me that, but it like surpassed my expectations because we get like 3 versions of it. Like, and then like I know one version we get of it is just like really like epic version too. It's like, wow, okay, they gave me what I asked for and like then some. But yeah, no, the music was great, but and then yeah. I mean, that's all I can really say is yeah, the music was great.
It was a real like full circle moment for me.
I was just gonna mention like they use the like classic Mario music very well and blend it in very nicely.
Yeah.
Nothing's really like over powerful. They always use like the riffs and stuff. So it's a nice blend of like movie score and video game score, which is like really nice to hear because a lot of the times video game movies could just pull the score exactly from the game and not change anything. So I like that they went into more of a like movie score versions of everything.
Yeah.
And like there's the scene when they're in like the sewer or before they find the tunnel and you can just slightly hear like the underground music play and they just like drop it in all and like every scene you know or expect that like sound to come in. They're very good at like putting that there.
Yeah. I agree. So, I guess we'll get so my favorite part in the entire movie has to be when they go to the Kong Kingdom. I just love that
Yeah.
entire scene. Yeah, because not only because when we first get to the Kong Kingdom, we get a small, talking about the music, we get a small reference to Donkey Kong Country music because they play
Mhm.
like the little opening segment to what is it called, like Jungle Japes, I think. I forget what the first level is in
I
Donkey
think
Kong
that's the
Country.
first one, yeah.
Yeah,
At
so
least that's
so
the
I
stage in Smash.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I really love that. I did like the whole like cart segment as they were taking them to Cranky Kong, minus Take on Me playing. But like, dude, when that Kong like ate that banana and like threw it on the road, and that Kong was dead. He died. There was an explosion. He is dead. Like,
We witnessed a murder.
yeah, seriously, we literally witnessed a murder in that scene.
One
But
of three
dude,
sad explosive deaths in this movie.
yeah. But man, I love the fight between Donkey Kong and Mario because first of all, they introduced Donkey Kong with the DK rap, which
So
is
good.
just amazing.
Oh my
Yeah, that
god.
is just freaking amazing. I was not expecting them to do that. Although
DK,
freaking DK
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah, man, it was amazing. Although slight shade thrown at Universal because they did not credit Grant Kirkhope in the
Mhm.
film's closing credits for the DK rap. They just say it's from Donkey Kong 64. So
That
shame on
was
you for not
really
crediting Grant
upsetting.
Kirkhope. Yeah, like they literally credit everybody else except Grant
Something,
Kirkhope.
yeah, something you would not expect to see in this day and age. I follow Grant Kirkhope on Twitter, so I like got to see his reaction to that, and it just made me real sad. He's such a nice dude.
Yeah, exactly. So that was not cool, but introducing DK with the DK rap was amazing. And then like, I just love that entire like fight sequence. Like I love when Mario gets the small mushroom because then we hear the Seth Rogen laugh for the first time come out of DK, which that just cracked me up in the theater. And then I love the part where DK like punches Mario like really high into the air, and then Peach screams Mario, and then he goes, "It's a me!" Like that was a really good joke. I really liked that. And then like seeing Mario with like the cat suit from Super Mario 3D World was really fun, and just the entire Kong Kingdom sequence I would say is probably my favorite part in this entire movie.
I love the
Same here.
Kongs. I definitely gotta agree with that because it was
Yeah.
like something that like actually like expanded on the world of Mario because like you never really know where the Kongs are. They're like in this weird like kind of in the Mario universe, kind of in their own universe thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of nice to see like have the Kong Kingdom connected to it all. I also love the cameos of the Donkey Kong 64 crew in the crowd. Seeing
Oh yeah.
Chunky wasn't dead. That
Oh,
was
he's
so
not
cool.
dead.
Chunky lives.
Okay, speaking of Chunky, there was this really funny like thing I saw where this guy was saying, "So I cosplayed to the Mario movie as Chunky Kong," and then somebody asked me, "Who are you supposed to be?" And then I said, "You'll see," and then Chunky Kong never showed up. But I guess he did though. I mean, he's in the crowd, right?
Yeah, he's in the crowd. I think I saw that post. I think it was Funky Kong.
Oh, was it Funky Kong? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
Funky
who
Kong. My bad.
unfortunately did not show up.
You unfortunately did not show up. Yeah, I thought that's pretty
Funky
great.
mode not
Oh
included.
no. I mean, the guy that the Kong that drove them in the cart to see Cranky could have been Funky Kong. I mean, he had sunglasses. I don't know why they just didn't make
Honestly,
him
yeah.
Funky Kong. But okay, I want to circle back to that though, because you mentioned like all the cameos from like other like DK characters. I love the part where everyone's cheering for Donkey Kong, and then like Cranky's like, "All right, shut up," and then you hear DK D. That includes you, Diddy, and he's like, "Oh." Like,
Classic.
yeah, I loved that. That was great.
The whole
Oh, were you?
Kong crew.
Yeah. Or were you gonna say something earlier, Udi?
I was just gonna say that again, yeah, I enjoyed the Seth Rogen laugh. That
Yeah.
was another aspect that made that whole sequence even better.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I liked totally forgot about like the little Diddy Kong reference, but I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, I don't know, just something about that like little scene right there is just great. Because I just like the idea of like, because you know when you play Donkey Kong Country, Diddy Kong's with you the entire time. So I just like the idea of like Diddy Kong just being this like huge supporter for Donkey Kong. You know,
I have a question.
what's up?
Is there a Donkey Kong racing game?
There's Diddy Kong
Yeah.
Racing.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
there's also Donkey Kong Bongo Blast, I think it's called. Something like that.
Is that
I
the one where you
remember
control it with the bongos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two games with that bongo controller. There's like a rhythm game and a racing game where you use the bongos to like
how do you
rhythm
race with
boost.
bongos?
I I have no idea.
I had that game and the
So
bongos
weird.
controllers did not work, so I played it once and then it collected dust.
Oh no.
I do think it was weird that they made the Kongs the ones who make the carts. Like
Yeah.
there's like no precedent for that in any of the Mario games. So
Yeah,
it's
not
kind of weird
really.
that they were like, yeah, we'll have the Kongs in the movie and they can make the carts too. They can make the carts and it'll all make sense. And like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
sure, fine, like we can do that, but it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I asked if there was one because I didn't know if there was because I know there's Mario Kart,
hmm
but I
I
guess they
guess
just decided that's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
like maybe just because all of the like Kong characters have been in Mario Kart for like as long as the series has existed, they were like, okay, they have a connection to this to the carts because they've been here this whole time. But like, I don't know. I always just kind of assumed the Toads were making them.
Yeah. what did you guys think of like the big finale? I do want to say because when I was giving my impressions, I didn't really talk about like Jack Black as Bowser. I did enjoy Jack Black as Bowser. I thought he was one of the best voices in the movie, and I thought it was hilarious that at one point when he's singing Peaches, like because Jack Black is doing a voice the entire time for Bowser, but then at one point when he starts singing the Peaches song, he's just Jack Black, like he's not even doing his Bowser voice anymore, which I thought that was hilarious. But I did think it was kind of strange how like Mario and Bowser never really meet face to face until like the end of the movie.
That was weird. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I don't know like with the structure of this story unless you have like Bowser in a cart on like Rainbow Road. Like maybe that's when they can meet for the first time.
yeah,
But like that's like the only place I could see them meeting in this structure for this movie. But it is
exactly.
weird that they didn't meet until like the very end.
Yeah. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the first Sonic movie, but I will give the first Sonic movie credit, and then like Sonic and Eggman like meet like pretty early on
Mhm.
in that movie. So like the rest of the movie is just them like, you know, going at each other. So like I will give that, but and yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird, like like we already said.
Does Mario like normally meet Bowser in the beginning of like games and stuff?
Usually, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Oh.
I was gonna say because if you go back to like I guess it just depends on the game because like the very first game on NES, like you meet quote unquote Bowser in like the very first castle level, but technically it's not actually Bowser. It's just like an enemy disguised as Bowser, and then you don't meet the actual like real Bowser until like the World 8 castle. But then I think back to like Mario Galaxy where Bowser shows up at the beginning of the game, and so technically they do meet. I guess it just depends on the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like most of the games, like besides the first one, they either have the precedent of Bowser and Mario already know each other, or there's a cutscene where like he steals Peach at the beginning, and that's like, here's the plot for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, or they're playing golf together.
Yeah, or kart racing.
Yeah,
That should be
or
the next one. Mario Golf the
Oh,
movie.
Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Let's do it.
you brought
Um,
up Mario Galaxy, and this is something I put in my letterbox review, but when I
yeah.
heard the Gusty Garden Galaxy in the credits, it reminded me of how much more cinematic the opening to Super Mario Galaxy is compared to this movie.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Mario Galaxy does really have some. Like, I remember when I played that game for the first time, and like I got shot through a launch star for like the very first time, and you
Yeah,
just see like Mario just flying through space. It was honestly magical to like see that as a kid. Like, honestly.
really. That's
So,
why it's my favorite Mario game.
yeah, same here, man. I love Mario Galaxy. It's always a toss up. Have you played both Mario Galaxies, Mike? Have you played one and two?
Yeah,
Okay, you
yeah, I
see,
played both.
it's always a toss up for me for which one I like better. Some days I like Mario Galaxy 1 better, other days I like Galaxy 2 better. It's just like I can never decide.
Mhm. I've always gone with one just because I like the hub world more. But
2,
that's just me.
2 has Yoshi though.
Who does have Yoshi? It's two is probably better from a gameplay perspective, but I like the story and atmosphere of the first one.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
yeah, anyway, enough Mario Galaxy talk. I mean, what did you guys think of the film's the way it ended? I mean, I kind of liked how it ended. I thought it was a little jarring that they kind of brought the fight back to Brooklyn. Like, I was not expecting that. I wasn't expecting like literally Bowser and all these other like kooky Mushroom Kingdom characters to get brought back to Brooklyn. But yeah,
There's a reference to the '93 film.
I guess. Udi and Miranda, what did you guys think of the film's ending?
I think the ending was done well. I liked Mario and Luigi getting the star and defeating and fighting Bowser together. I liked that.
Yeah.
Um I wasn't very like weirded out that they were like brought it back to Brooklyn because it like starts there, so it kind of makes sense to end there. And then I think in one of the games you end up in the like human world where you're not like in the Mushroom Kingdom. So I'm not sure if that's like a reference to that game or what that game entails.
Well, I
Okay.
just want to say real quick, you're probably thinking of New Donk City from Mario Odyssey, which they
Oh,
actually do
really?
reference New Donk City because they have Mayor Pauline in the
Mhm.
movie, and she's from New Donk City. So yeah, so I guess you could say yeah, it is kind of a reference, Miranda.
Yeah, because that's like the first thing that popped into my head, but I haven't played the game.
You should.
Odyssey's so good. I need to replay that.
Same on yeah. Okay. What about you, Udi? What did you think of the film's ending?
I thought it was fine, but it did kind of strike me as funny that like at the end of like every superhero movie, like the goal is to get the villain away from like the area with the most people. And in
Oh,
this one, it's like, oh, let's bring Bowser to New York. That sounds like a great idea.
yeah.
Nothing bad could possibly happen putting him near all the other
What could
people.
possibly go wrong?
I was just to say they didn't like intentionally bring him. There was like the
That's
bomb,
true.
right? And they like
Yeah.
put it in
Well,
the.
I mean, I don't know, because Mario saw that that was clearly the warp pipe that brought him from Brooklyn to the Mushroom Kingdom. So who even knows what he was thinking? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god. I was gonna say, were you finished with your thoughts, Udi? What else? Did you have anything else to add?
I was just gonna add that, and then I liked that Bowser got drunk and he got kept into like a little tiny jar.
They put
Oh,
him in a jar.
yeah. I do find it strange that you got a talking gorilla showing up in quote unquote the real world and just like no one seems to mention it. Maybe they mentioned it after the battle and it happened off screen, but I mean no one's weirded out by a talking gorilla.
This is the Brooklyn that went through King Kong.
You know what? Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Something I forgot to mention. Back when we were talking about the music, I just want to say I freaking love how they like first introduce Mario into the Mushroom Kingdom because like he trans gets teleported into the Mushroom Kingdom and then as he's like looking around at this new fantasy-esque world, we get like this angelic a cappella rendition of the World 1-1 theme and I was like, "Oh, that music just fits perfectly." Like I really love that. I just wanted to mention that.
Another piece of music that ties into the end of the film, when they get the superstar and they use it,
Yeah.
like I don't know about you guys, but like when I hear the Invincible Starman theme, like it doesn't sound very like epic. Like it makes sense in the context of a game of like, oh, you're invincible, you gotta go.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it
Yeah.
makes you want to run.
Yeah.
So as soon as they like touch the stars, like I don't know, they're gonna they're gonna use it, but like I don't know how it's gonna fit for like the climax of a movie, but by God, they did it.
Yeah, they did.
They made it sound really good, so props to
I
the composer whose name I keep forgetting.
yeah. Uh
I'm gonna look
I
that up.
Yeah, who is the? I want to say his name's Chris Tyler, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's Brian Tyler. Brian Tyler.
Brian
Okay.
Tyler, okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Brian Tyler.
Yeah. But I was gonna say like I was kind of a little annoyed that they kept calling it the Superstar because it looked like the Power Star from like Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy. So I was like,
Right.
why are they not calling it the Power Star? But I guess technically it is the star that gives you invincibility because that's what Mario and Luigi get from it. So maybe
It
that's
was
what
kind
the
of used as like yeah, it was the invincibility star, but like it was also a power star, and then there's like the superstars from the Mario Party game. So like I don't know, that's kind of unclear.
the deep Mario star lore. Yeah.
The Star Lord.
Star Lord. Hey, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm trying to think back. Like, is there anything else of note we want to talk about? Like, I'm trying to think of like the characters and whatnot. Like, cause I mean, I agree with you all. Like, I thought Charlie Day's Luigi was great, perfectly casted for the role. Anya Taylor-Joy did fine as Peach. Keegan Michael Key was unrecognizable as Toad. Like, if you would have told me that was Keegan Michael Key, I would have been like, what? Without having already known that he was voicing the character. Like, he did great as Toad. I really like the guy that voiced Kamek. Like, I thought he did a great Kamek voice. What
That
was
was
the
good
name?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, what was the name of that? I had the IMDb cast list pulled up earlier, and then I exited out of the tab, like, because I'm an idiot. Kevin Michael Richardson, yeah, as
Right.
Kamek. I
Yeah.
thought he did great as Kamek. I mean, how'd you guys feel about some of the more of the side characters like Toad and Kamek and all that?
I like Toad.
You like
Yeah.
Toad?
I liked all the Toads too. Like when they were like going through like the Toad town at the
Y-
beginning.
yeah.
Hmm. I felt like Toad was like kind of underutilized. Like I thought the voice work was good. I do wish it was a little more creaky, like that
Yeah.
Toad that we've all come to know and love. But
Yeah.
it was good for the most part. And I don't know why I haven't yet, but I do need to sing the praises of Charlie Day and Jack Black. Probably
Yeah.
my favorite voice performances in the movie, and both were severely underutilized. So once again, hoping for a sequel where they get to do more.
Yeah, I did kind of notice, like, I think Miranda had mentioned this, that Luigi, like, really was gone throughout most of the middle of the movie.
He didn't really have much to do. He was kind of just in a cage. But
Yeah.
maybe they'll make a sequel called like isn't doesn't he have his own like Luigi's Mansion game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they could do something with that cuz like when he first gets into like Bowser's world, it looks really good and I think they like
Hmm.
did a very good job.
Yeah. I mean, Charlie Day has already said that he wants to do a Luigi's Mansion movie, so you
Let
never
him.
know. Yeah, let him
Let him
cook.
write it. Someone cooked here.
What was he cooking? But yeah, because like Mike had mentioned, this movie, I am go I'm willing to like bet actual like my life on it. This movie's gonna make $1 billion. There's no way this movie
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
make $1 billion. This is gonna be the first video game adaptation to make $1 billion. So we are gonna get more movies. And the
definitely.
question is, yeah, there's lots of potential. Like a Luigi's Mansion movie. They could do a Donkey Kong Country movie. I honestly wouldn't mind a Donkey Kong Country movie if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great. Seth Rogen was also one of my highlights for the movie, so
Yeah.
I thought he was hilarious. His relationship with Cranky Kong was funny, who I also loved. I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't like Fred Armisen in the role for some
Yeah,
reason,
that's what
but
I've been
I
hearing as well.
I really enjoyed him. I thought he was a great Cranky Kong.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
thought
as
he
big
did
of like
fine.
a Donkey Kong fan, so like maybe I don't know the specific grunts that Cranky Kong makes in the games, but
I
I
was gonna
thought Fred
say,
Armisen did a really good job.
the Donkey Kong characters don't really talk to begin with,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, no, I thought Fred Armisen did fine as Cranky Kong, but to each their own. All right, well, do we have any other like points of significance that we want to mention? Any other like things you guys wanted to bring up or talk about that we might not have touched on?
Can I pose a question to you guys?
What's up?
What would you like to see in the Mario Brothers movie 2?
Well, that is a good question. I mean, we already know because this movie had like a mid-credit scene and then it had like an after-credit scene. If you stayed around for the after-credit scene, you know that obviously Yoshi's going to be in the sequel because they
Hmm.
teased him. But I guess, see, that's the thing because I was having a conversation about this with some friends this past weekend. What could they do in terms of a story for the sequel?
Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh no. I mean, they could.
I mean, it would be different because that game is very different from like all the other ones because you have to like jetpack around with water. So
Yeah. I
could
mean,
be interesting.
it could, but I mean, I think because like I think was it Jack Black who said he wants Pedro Pascal to play Wario in the Mario sequel? I think having like Wario and like Waluigi as like antagonists for the sequel could be good, especially if like Wario's always trying to like come up with like a scheme to like make money or something like that. I think that could be a lot of fun. What about you, Udi? What would you want to see in the Mario sequel if you have any ideas?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any ideas. I think
Yeah.
like visually, you could do something similar to like Super Mario Galaxy. That would be different and
Oh, that
interesting, I
would be really
guess.
cool. Yeah.
I don't know if that would be too soon for like a Super Mario cinematic universe, but that would be interesting. And then yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I felt kind of bad because I totally forgot about Yoshi, and then the post credit scene happened. Like, oh my God, Yoshi! Oh my God, he
Yeah.
wasn't in the movie at all. And then
Well, technically, I mean, a whole bunch of Yoshis made a small appearance when they were doing that montage of traveling throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, but it wasn't the Yoshi.
uh, I don't remember. I've only seen it
Uh,
once, so but yeah,
yeah.
that's just all I have. I don't really have any other ideas.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? You're the one that posed question. What would you like to see?
I kind of like what you guys were cooking. I'd like to see it go in kind of the order of the 3D Mario games. So I'd love if the next one was set on Isle Delfino. Uh, bring in Yoshi. Yoshi was in Sunshine, so that works. You can bring in Wario and Waluigi as like I don't know what how they would fit in the Mario Sunshine story, but I think you could fit them in there. Bring in Bowser Jr., maybe bring in the Koopa kids as well. Who knows? But yeah, I think setting it on Al Delfino would be great. And
Yeah.
then if we get to a third one, then make Mario Galaxy and make 2 million, 2 quadrillion, marbillion dollars.
Make $1 billion. Mario sweep. But yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, actually. Yeah.
Seeing like Luigi in like swim trunks and like a opened up button up shirt with no undershirt would like kind of be the best thing ever.
There we go. There we go. Those are
So
those are goals right there, Illumination. Get on it. But no, I agree. I think those are great ideas. Yeah, like second film, I would be okay with it taking place on Isle Delfino. Or what if they tried to adapt like the U.S. version of Mario 2, where like they are this in like this dream landscape and they have like warp. That would be really weird, wouldn't
or it
it?
would be cool. I did see a hard drive article on Twitter that basically said um, Nintendo is considering making two different versions of the next Mario movie since the Japanese version might be too hard for American audiences to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
I
that's pretty good.
thought that was pretty funny.
What about Princess Daisy? You think they should introduce Daisy in the sequel?
That okay, that's just something that I didn't bring up earlier, but since you did bring up Daisy, I don't really know what Daisy's purpose would serve because they kind of made Peach Daisy, or at least the personality associated with Daisy, at least in my mind.
Yeah, well, see, I always thought that the Daisy was like Luigi's Peach, like she was supposed to be
Yeah,
his love interest.
definitely, but like in the games, like at least like the games that she's in with like the Mario Kart games and Mario Party, Peach has always been more of like a prim and proper like girly girl, I guess you would say. And
Yeah,
Daisy was more of like the spunky out there kind of character. And I feel like they gave a lot of those qualities to Peach in this movie, which is, it's fine. But like I don't know what you do with Daisy then to make it like tonally distinct from Peach.
that is a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see if they do decide to use Daisy. I guess we'll have to see what they come up with.
I'd love to see her. I've always been a Daisy hater in the past for I don't know why, but
Oh.
but yeah, I'd be happy to see her and see what they can do with her.
Oh yeah, same, honestly. But all right. Well, I guess I'll just do one last like call here. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about regarding the Mario movie at all?
Well, one of the sequels could be Isn't there a Mario Sonic like Olympic sports
Yeah,
game?
yeah,
You
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic
could do
Games.
that crossover.
Okay,
Let's
I'm gonna
do
be
You could
it.
honest.
either bring Sonic into the world or have them go into the real world with the Sonic movies and just have a big like
The other
video
real
game
world.
universe.
I'm gonna be honest. I would watch that. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, the movie. I would watch that. Not
Yeah,
gonna
like
lie.
who wouldn't watch
That'd be
that?
kind of incredible. I mean, like they have in the Sonic movies, they have the ring thing where like they take you to different universes. So like I don't know, we could
Yeah.
see them go into. I'd rather see Sonic go into the animated universe than bring
Same.
him into the
Yeah.
live action. Maybe we get animated James Marsden. That'd be
No,
kind of fun.
no. Here's what happens. They bring the Mario cast into live action, so that way, what Udi originally thought this movie can be fully realized. You got Chris Pratt actually as
Oh
Mario.
God.
You get Taylor Joy actually as Peach. Seth Rogen actually as Donkey Kong.
It'd be like the Timmy Turner, the Timmy Jimmy Power Hour. If any of you guys
God,
watched that as a kid,
I remember that. Yeah, dude, that was hype back in the day.
That was good.
was.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Honestly, if they had a sequence in the sequel where they accidentally got brought up to the real world, I would be okay with that. I still want to see that movie.
They could do like a Doctor Strange kind of thing where like they go through a warp pipe and it just brings them through a bunch of different dimensions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oops, wrong pipe," and then they go
Yeah.
back to animated.
You see, the thing is, though, is if they're gonna go that route, I want them to put a fake mustache on Chris Pratt. Like, I don't want him to have like
Oh
an
yeah,
actual mustache.
both he and Charlie have to wear fake mustaches.
Yeah. And then Seth Rogen is in just like this really cheap like Halloween costume gorilla suit, but he's like doesn't have the mask on. They did a live action like music video for the Peaches song with Jack Black.
Oh,
So Jack
good.
Yeah,
Black's get up could just be what he wears in that music video.
it's true. That headpiece like wig thing is pretty impressive. It does look like Bowser's hair. So,
It does, yeah.
and his green suit is was very fashionable,
Yeah.
very villainous.
Jack Black was born for the role. Just that's it.
He was honestly, yeah, he was.
Perfect casting.
Agreed. As well as Charlie Day, Luigi, also perfect casting.
Agreed.
Yes.
Oh, and one other thing I forgot to bring up, well, because we were talking about Easter eggs, I like how Luigi's ringtone is the GameCube startup music.
Yeah,
Do. Yeah, I thought that
that
was
was
really
so
nice.
good.
Yeah.
That was great.
Also, apparently, I guess the game that Mario was playing on the NES was Kid Icarus,
Yeah, it
which is
was.
interesting. So,
It was an odd one to choose. I also
yeah.
don't know how I feel about Mario and Luigi like living in their childhood bedrooms since they look like grown men.
Well, I think they're
I'm
supposed to
not
be
gonna
grown men.
judge.
They started their own independent plumbing business, so I will say
Yeah.
that I guess another thing I really wish this movie would have done, I wish we could have spent a little more time in Brooklyn. Like I would have liked a little more time developing more of like, just the backstory of the Mario Bros in Brooklyn and whatnot, because like we know that they left like Spike's Wrecking Crew company to start their own
Mhm.
plumbing business, but I mean I still would have liked a little more like just a little more in Brooklyn. Maybe spend less time doing a funny evil dog gag. I don't know. I didn't really like that scene if I'm being
That
honest.
was definitely my least favorite scene in the
Yeah,
movie because
I
it felt like they were in the Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, like, and not only that, but like, I guess this really is not that big of a deal in the long run. But the dog that they have, it looks like it's modeled after a golden retriever, and golden retrievers are like some of the nicest dogs you can
Yeah,
get. So, like, I don't know. I
I
didn't like
felt
that
like
scene.
I felt like all the non Mario and Luigi human characters looked a little weird. It just felt like they were in a Despicable Me movie when they weren't in the Mario world. So
Yeah,
I except for I like Spike's look, but like yeah,
yeah.
and Mario's family, but like all like the regular like civilian people like looked off.
I will say, like, when I first saw Mario's dad, that's like I was kind of that's not what I was expecting Mario's dad to look like. I thought he was gonna look. I don't know. I don't know what thought. I don't know what I had in my head, but what they had was not what I was expecting. Not saying that's a bad thing or anything, but I'm just saying.
I feel like there's some art somewhere out there from like the 80s, like maybe some like there are like these Mario flashcards that I think may have had some illustrations of Mario's family on there. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure there's like trace amounts of Mario's family out in the world somewhere prior to this movie.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it, so there's some characters from Ocarina of Time. Like there's one character in Ocarina of Time that's modeled after Mario, and if you look at him and then you look at
Oh,
Mario's
right, yeah.
father, they look similar. So maybe they use those Ocarina of Time
Right, yeah.
characters as like inspiration. So you never know.
Maybe.
But I did like the look because I like how some of like the uncles like kind of looked like Luigi, you know. So I
Yeah.
did like I did like some of that aspect of it. I don't know. How did you feel about Mario like not liking mushrooms? Because it is kind of a trope to like have a character be like, "Oh, I don't like this thing," and then they travel to a world that's just like full of that thing, you know?
Yeah, it was yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. It
exactly.
was a trope. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
it's a trope. Yeah, I mean, I
As
don't
soon
know.
as like it happened, I was like, okay, yeah, I probably should have predicted they were gonna do this.
I felt kind of weird about it because Mario, like, other than stomping on turtles and beating Bowser, that's what he's known for. He's known for eating mushrooms. And then he's like, "Ugh, I hate mushrooms." It's like, what? I mean, I don't blame him. I don't like mushrooms either, so I relate to him in that aspect. But still, I was like, but that's part of your character. You eat
they,
mushrooms, Mario.
they handled the power ups a little funky because like the mushroom you had to eat, but like the fire flower you could just like touch it and like
Yeah.
they didn't even show like the cat power up is like a bell, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
Mario didn't eat the bell, so I don't know. They probably could have gotten away with just having
No,
Mario touch the mushroom like he does in the game.
I'm going to assume Mario ate the bell.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of weird though how they never gave us Mario in his fire flower form because that's like
That
his
was
most
weird,
common
yeah.
form. Like they were gonna do it, but then Donkey Kong was like, no.
No.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay.
Do you think they make like how it feels to chew five gum commercials in the Mushroom Kingdom where it's like this is how it feels to eat mushrooms
Then you grow.
You just
and then you
grow.
grow.
I did
Did you
like
think
how they how they kind of because see that was the thing I like never understood about the original Mario games is like so when I start off as small Mario is that Mario's just regular size and then when he gets the mushroom he like grows big or is Mario just starting off small and then him getting the mushroom is him growing to his regular size like I never understood that about the original games but I guess this kind of like clears it up.
He's just a little dude.
He's just a little dude, and yeah, he gets bigger. I another thing I just thought of is when like Peach first sees Mario, I thought they were gonna do something different with like because like it
Yeah.
slows down and like the music starts playing. So I thought Peach was gonna be the one to like get a crush on Mario, and I was like,
Hmm.
oh, that's really funny, you know? Like I wish they would have done that because they kind of. Because you know, like Peach and Mario like kind of flirt throughout the movie, but they never really like make it seem like Peach is the one that likes Mario. And I really wish they would have
Right.
done that because I think that would have been like hilarious. And plus, you never really see that too often.
Yeah, that would have been a good subversion. It
Yeah,
was kind of weird that they included that from Peach's perspective when she doesn't show any like real interest, like at least
yeah,
like at the beginning after that scene. So
yeah. And like, I think the reason why is because like Peach explains that she is human, and I guess seeing like the first human ever in like your lifetime is probably gonna take you aback a bit, but still, it's the way they like framed that scene made it seem like Peach was gonna be the one getting a crush on Mario as opposed to Mario getting a crush on Peach. You know.
right.
But all right, so what would you guys rate this film? We'll start with you first, Miranda, since you went first.
How about you come back to me?
Okay, Udi, you go then.
I'm gonna give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'm feeling generous.
All right. What about you, Mike? What would you give it?
Since I'm feeling generous, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars.
Ooh,
Um,
spicy.
I mean, like
Uh-oh.
if I'm allowed
Don't
to
tell
give like
Twitter.
some, if I can get some final thoughts, I mean,
Oh yeah,
if
give
this
your final
wasn't a
thoughts.
Mario movie, like it'd be kind of like, I don't know. I think people would think this was bad. So just
I
because it
mean,
is
yeah.
like kind of
No,
brand recognition, what it is,
yeah.
I think it was perfectly fine for what it was, and I'd definitely be happy to see more. Um, I did have something I wanted to say, like about where we're seeing video adaptations going, where between this and The Last of Us, I think we do kind of have a good trajectory of maybe getting some better adaptations in the future with um, The Last of Us giving us like really good like prestige like television like for a video game, and the Mario movie giving us like people that like actually love and care about the source material, like putting it out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fine, and I'd be happy to watch more in the future,
I will
maybe with a
say,
little better story.
yeah. I just want to say real quick, 'cause speaking of, because in the Last of Us episode, I did talk about the course that video game adaptations were taking. I completely forgot to mention Arcane when I was bringing up examples of like recent video game adaptations that are really good. I forgot to mention Arcane. Arcane is amazing. Another example of like really good video game adaptations. So yeah, I just want to mention that because yeah, I listened back to that episode. I was like, I forgot to mention Arcane. How could I? But yeah, Arcane is great. But yeah. So for the Mario movie, I would give it a 3 out of 5. Because like I had a lot of fun while watching it. I really did enjoy myself when I was watching it, but it's didn't really, it's the story was pretty generic. Like it didn't really do anything inventive or interesting or new or and like a lot of it is just references, and if you're a fan like me, those references are great. I love those references, but yeah, I mean, it's not like this was no Puss in Boots or Spider-Verse, but
Definitely.
I still really enjoyed it. So don't
Yeah,
attack me, Twitter. I'm not saying the movie's bad.
I definitely agree with Mike, and I think the reason why we're okay with it is because again, like video game adaptations are finally starting to become like faithful and better.
Yeah,
At least that's the trajectory that we're on with The Last of Us in this. And so I feel like the baseline for people liking this was it's not a bad movie and it's like pretty faithful to the source material, and it hit both those targets. And so I feel like that's why I was like, okay, oof, like sigh of relief. It was a decent movie and like it was pretty faithful to the material. So like
yeah,
it might not have been like a groundbreaking or amazing movie, but it wasn't a bad movie, and that's like all that matters really. That's like
yeah,
the only two metrics I had to hit. So like to hit both of them, it's like, oof, okay, perfect.
yeah,
And so, because like, yeah, if this is just like, even if it was like a Pixar movie or if it was just like some random new IP from Illumination, like, I would have just been bored. I would have been like, okay, cool. Like, this is just a nothing story. It's not telling anything special or unique, really. Blah 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 blah. Like
yeah,
maybe it could have had like an interesting animation style or something. I don't know, but story wise, like it would have been pretty bland. But again, like it getting the pass because like it's an adaptation and it like matched like it hit the two targets I had to. Like I feel like that's really the only reason why. But yeah, I
yeah,
agree with Mike's
yeah.
sentiment.
And like I just to kind of give some of my final thoughts, like once again, I thought, the animation was great. Pacing a little fast, but I mean, not nothing too bad. I love the music, love the characters. And I wanted to say something else, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Shoot. I don't remember. Oh well. But all right, Miranda, what would you rate this movie?
Um, I was thinking like at 80%, but because like the 5-star rating is fine, but like you're not using the whole 0 to 100 scale. So
Yeah.
like if I had to go with 5 stars, it'd be like a 3.5.
Okay.
But if like a full school scale, it'd be like 80 because I don't think it would be like a 4 out of 5 in the scale rating. But um, it's a good movie. Like it's really enjoyable. I saw it with a sold out theater with my cousins, and they're like they're younger, so they had a blast, and it was fun like watching and hearing the audience react to the movie because there was like a tons of kids in it. So it's just nice to hear them and see them reacting to it because like Mario's for everyone, young, old, in between.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's just a good like family movie, and yeah, the storyline is a bit lacking in some areas, but I'm sure with a sequel, if they end up doing that, they'll work out some stuff. They were playing it safe because it is such a beloved franchise, and you don't want to like a Godzilla '98 where you do it and you ruin it, or the like live action Mario movie, which is not good. So I think for the movie that it is and the stuff they put in it and everything you guys have said, it just all works very well together.
Nicely said. Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And yeah, so once again, perfectly fine movie. I'm very much looking forward to the sequels. I will say, like, because there's people out there talking about like a Nintendo cinematic universe. Would you guys want something like that? Because I'm going to be honest, I do not want Illumination to handle something like Zelda or Metroid. I do not
No.
think they're cut out for that. No, yeah.
I would love to have like a Metroid and a Zelda movie be live action handled by any other company.
Yeah, because like there was somebody that posted like a concept, like you know how Marvel does their like Phase 5 and whatever, and
Mhm.
they show all. Somebody posted a concept for that, and like they had it all by like Illumination, and I was just thinking, no,
No.
we don't need like I need a hero plane while Link goes to retrieve the Master Sword to fight Ganon. Like, God, no.
See, I would be down for like a Nintendo cinematic universe, but I mean, yeah, well, on the one hand, yeah, I agree. I feel like it shouldn't just be Illumination, but two, also, I feel like that would just make it. It wouldn't be exactly the same, but I feel like it would almost be like how we've talked about, like Insomniac maybe making their own Marvel Games universe, like starting with Spider-Man. Like that would just take too long. Like one studio doing all of that animation and everything, like I just feel like it would be too much work for one studio. But
Yeah, they
aside
they
from
would.
that,
I was just gonna say real quick that they would have to like only focus on that if they were gonna do that.
yeah.
No more
And so
minions?
no
Oh
more
no,
minions.
no more minions. Not such a bad thing. Yeah, this is definitely my favorite. This is, in my opinion, at least, Illumination's best film. I don't know if I've made it clear before, but I'm not the biggest Illumination fan. I really do not like any of their movies. Like the only Illumination movie I find somewhat decent is the first Despicable Me, but other than that, like I don't like any of their movies. So it was nice to finally have an Illumination movie that I am really enjoying, and I'm definitely like I already have like a copy of the Super Mario Brothers movie like pre-ordered. So
I mean, Illumination films aren't bad. I think they just got over not overhyped, overused in like social media. Like the Despicable Me movies are pretty good. The Minion movie isn't bad. Like they don't make bad movies. It's just they are kind of seen as like the third tier of like animation, which like animation takes a long time and a lot of skill to do. So, if they do make like a Nintendo universe, I would be okay with Illumination doing it cuz like they've already have that relationship with Nintendo. So I'm sure like they would be in like good hands, especially cuz I think they probably took a lot of care and precautions with the production of this movie. But I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it.
all right, well, I think that concludes our thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie. I just want to thank you all for listening. Stay tuned for more Atomic Lizards episodes, as well as some more bonus episodes we have coming down the pipeline. You can check out our most recent review, which was Mothra vs. Godzilla. Until next time, everyone.